All right, Thursday the 5th, we have full body, 5, 6, or 7 rounds. That is your choice. We have 20 alternating front rack knee tucks, 10 alternating overhead knee tucks, 10 devil press, 10 single arm rows to fly, single arm row to fly, 20 single leg drops. So the first two pretty much go together, but I knew that it was gonna be too long if I left it in like one big line going across. So that's why it's separate, but I'll show you you can separate it also, but this is how I did it. So the 20 front rack knee tucks alternating, this is your front rack, lift up your knees alternating, so up to 21. Try to keep everything straight except lifting up your legs. Try not to move too much. So you're gonna go up to 20, and then you're gonna press up and do 10. So they're meant to be done consecutively, but again, I knew it wasn't gonna fit on the page if I put it all in one line. So if you wanna break it up, you can. I just went from here to here, okay? Devil press, we all know what that is. You can do full or you can do half. This is actually, if you were in my April program, this is the workout that re-hurt my back because I was doing double press with probably too heavy of weights. So, single arm row to fly. 10 per. So you can hold both if you want. I'll show you diagonal. So it's gonna be row, fly, row, fly, and then you're gonna switch sides. And leg drops. I think I called them something different last time, but it's the same thing. 2, 3, 4. Okay. So alternating front rack knee tucks, and then the overhead. I'm just gonna grab a drink, sorry. Okay. So as I was explaining before, I did these back to back, but it's just too long to type that way. So you're gonna front rack, which means the weights are kind of resting on your shoulders and they're in front of you, and you're holding them the long way. So you're going to lift your knee as high as you can to your chest, alternate, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When you hit 20, I just pressed up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hit my 10. Okay, so when you're doing this, you're actually working your core and your legs and your arms, okay? So that's why you want to work on staying still, because you want your core to work on stabilizing your body. So anytime you do something one-legged, or if you're in a plank and you do something with one arm, or you lift an arm, your body has to work to stabilize itself to not fall, to stay, balanced. So that's how it works your core. So that's why you don't want to be like just willy-nilly lifting. You want to do it as strict as you can and stay as stiff as you can. Now, when you press up, you want to make sure that you stay overhead, that you're not in front or that you're not arched. You want to be nice and level and hit it here. Okay, so again, if you do need to break up the 20 and the 10, you can, but it was intended to be done back to back. So once you're done with that, double press. So as I was saying, this is the one that re-injured my back, not even re-injured it, but made it sore again because I did too heavy of weights with the double press. So the double press has 3 different variations. Your basic double press, I'll try to show you from the side, I guess, looks like this. Now you can hold onto your dumbbells the entire time, or you can leave them on the floor. So most of the time, it's usually just for like efficiency, because this is like kind of like a CrossFit type of thing. You would keep the dumbbells in your hand, so you would go down to the ground already holding them. I'm not gonna do that because I have a messed up wrist, so it's gonna bother me. Also, if you don't have weights that have like the hex on the outside, if they're like really round, they might roll on you. So you can try it holding them. but you might want to just start with them on the ground. So keep them on the ground. You're going to put your hands on the outside of the weights. You're going to jump out into a high plank. You're going to jump back into a wide squat. Drop your butt down so your back straightens out a little bit. Grab your dumbbells, swing them between your legs and over your head. 1. Outside of the dumbbells, high plank, wide squat. Drop your butt and straighten your back. Swing between your legs, overhead. 2. 3. 4. 5. So with that part, the trickiest part is where I say drop your butt and straighten your back, is to not have a rounded back. So when you come in, you're like this. So your back is pretty round. So if you just take it from here and go up, eventually from having that round, it's gonna start to pull on your lower back. So when you jump your feet in and you grab your weight, if you kind of drop your butt down, it kind of helps to straighten it. Instead of, if your butt is higher, your shoulders are more round. If you drop it, it straightens out your back a little bit. So that's what I mean when I say that. So if you've never done these before, don't go crazy with the weight. Or if you're somebody who has a weak back, if you know or you've been told you have injuries, if you know you have a weak back, use really light weight so that you don't, that you aren't more inclined to hunch and maybe not even realize that you're hunching. Because that's the problem. Most people, when they're doing it, don't realize they're doing it because it's not necessarily uncomfortable when you're doing it. It's usually actually more comfortable, which is why we do it. And then the next day or later is when you get the pain. So when you're doing it and you're hunching, you probably won't know unless you're watching yourself. So that's why you just want to be aware, try to drop your butt down, think about keeping your back straight. Now, a full devil press is what I just showed you, except you're going to drop all the way to the ground. So it's kind of like a burpee. So the burpee is going to have the same 3 modifications. It's going to have high plank, full, which is to the ground, or off a height, which is the easiest. So our full devil press would be here. When you jump out to your high plank, you're going to drop your body all the way down to the ground. So your chest and stomach are on the floor. Then you're going to come back up. Sorry, I had to move my weights. And then you're going to go up from there, okay? So that would be your full devil press, and your full burpee is when your chest and stomach is on the ground. Your modified is going to involve your chair. So the only difference when we do modified devil press is that we can't swing between our legs and over our head because the chair is in the way. So that part we're going to change to a clean and press instead of, a swing. So you have the weights on the chair. You're going to put your hands on either side of the weights. You're going to jump out to your high plank, jump back in, grab the weights off the chair, clean, press. 1. Hands on the outside, out to high plank, jump in, grab the weights, clean, press. 2. Okay, now if you're somebody who cannot jump, like I get people who have like really bad knee issues and like they can't do the smallest jump. Anytime we do double press or burpee, anything where there's jumping out to high plank or jumping in from a high plank, you can always step. So what that would mean is you'd go here, step out, step in, up. Or if we were doing a burpee off of a chair, which just looks like this, you would go here and not jump at the top, okay? So there's always a way to get around like the jumping thing or knee issues. You just have to know what the modification is. So those are all the different ways you can do your double press. Single arm row to fly. So you're going to use your lightweight for this. So as I talked before about the athletic stance, I called it, where you kind of have your knees bent and you're a little bit forward. That stance, but even more exaggerated, is what we're going to do anytime it says like one-armed rows or bent over rows, bent over, reverse flies, anything bent over or something in that category. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to do a slight bend in your knee and you're going to tip your upper body forward. Some people like to be really low. I usually keep it kind of like in the middle, kind of more diagonal. But again, you want to make sure that from your butt to your neck is fairly neutral that you're not doing this or you're not doing this. So we have our row to our fly. So our row is where you pull the weight back to your chest and you're kind of squeezing your shoulder blade. That is your row. So you start diagonal. Don't start down here. Start out in front of you and pull diagonal. That's your row. So we're gonna row, we're gonna return, and we're gonna fly. Return. 1. Row, fly. 2. So the reverse fly is opposite of the chest fly that we just did. So our chest fly, we were on our back doing this. Now we're bent over and we're doing it this way. So it would look like this. Row, fly, row, fly. So when you do this, when you do your fly, your arm is still bent just like it was when we did our regular chest fly. So your arm's gonna be kind of bent and it's gonna come out like this, okay? Both of them, you are kind of relying on your shoulder to pull. So with this one, you're pulling back. With this one, you're pulling, it's still back, but it almost feels more like you're pulling up. This one, it's like back. This one is like up, okay? And then you're gonna switch sides, row, lift, fly, row, fly. You could hold one in each hand. It's just whatever's comfortable for you. Like when I was doing it, I felt like I kept doing this. Then I was like doing this. I was like, I don't know where to put my hand. So you could just hold the other one down while you do it. And then when you switch, you can hold the other side. And lastly, we have our 20 single leg drops. So I put total there because we are alternating our legs. So you're gonna be on your back. You're gonna have your legs in tabletop, which means they're like a 90-degree angle. Your head can be resting on the ground, and you're just gonna drop one leg, tap the foot, up. 1, tap, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 20, okay? And that is your Thursday.